Okay, can I start my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for giving me an opportunity to introduce our activity for education and training in NICT Space Weather Services. My name is M.Ishii, the Director General of Radio Propagation Research Center, National Institute of Information Communication Research Laboratory, Japan. So, at first, I would like to introduce our activity for space weather services. Yeah, NICT is in charge of the space weather services in Japan, and we provide the space weather information twice in a day, and we monitor the space weather condition 24/7 operations. And we have services for IKO since November 7th, 2019. And we have 4 observatories for ionospheric conditions using Ionozonde, Wakanai in Hokkaido, and here Kokubunji, Tokyo, and Yamagawa in Kyushu, and Okinawa. Our headquarters is the suburb of Tokyo, and now we set center for services in Kobe areas. Okay. So I received several questions from Zoya-san before this meeting. The first one is what are the area of operations in terms of staff? So I show here the timeline of the actions of each operators of space weather services. So they have handover. They work for 24/7 hours, so separate day work and night work. So day work starts the 9 to 9:30, and night work starts 17:30 to 18 JST. At first, they start gathering information and check in-house observation status and analysis of the current results and drafting space weather forecast information and arranging brief meetings. We have a brief meeting every day in working hours at 1470. So for that, they arrange the document. I will show it later. And issuing the space user information via email and website, which will provide at 10 JST and 22 JST, and handover is opposite time. 70 to 30 and to 9 JSTs. So this is an example of the spreadsheet. So Doya-san gave me another question: the operations monitoring, analyzing, and forecasting. So I think the answer is yes. Forecasters monitor, analyze, and prepare a forecast draft with preparing the following spreadsheet. I want to show the actual one here. So it's preparing with Excel file, and this is for flare forecast. They put their images here and here and show the sunspot and active region like that. And they plot the conditions of each active regions here like that. And they use this sheet for draft forecast. And also this is for magnetic disturbance. They show the UV images of stereo and SDO for seeing the condition of coronal hole like that. And also, they plot the condition of ionosphere like that. It's a domestic observation data in Wakanai, Kokubunji, Yamaga, and Okinawa. Yeah, so using this spreadsheet, the forecaster analyzed the condition of the current status of the space weather. And another question is this, what are the basic competencies required to be operational? Yeah, it's rather difficult questions, and I need to answer this question as personal impressions. Any background of space weather educations are not necessary for forecasters. Now we have 11 forecasters working in NICT for operational space weather services, and there are no one who has a background of space weather or related fields in colleges. It will be better to have background of science for data collection, analysis, and presentations of draft of space weather forecast. It's a very similar manner to present the space weather, same as other scientific fields. So I think it's better. And more than that, I think it is necessary to have written tasks with well-organized way for the series of space weather forecast operations. Meticulous personality will be better. Okay, and another question is what are the common products used? I show the list of the products we used. For sun and solar wind, we use solar images obtained from SDO and SOHO. And solar wind, we use ACE and Discover data. And NICT contributes to the receive signals from the spacecraft as Asian regions. And IPS, Interplanetary Scintillation Monitor, it's provided from Nagoya University, and we use a model developed by ourselves, named Susano and DFNet, to monitor and forecasting when the shock arrive from the Earth. For magnetosphere, satellite sensors, GOES and Himawari data are used, and ground-based magnetometers also used. For ionosphere, we have 4 ionizondes in Japan, in domestic, and 5 in Southeast Asia, and 1 in Antarctica. We got the data in real time, so we used it for our operational space weather forecast services. And for GNSS, GeoNet data network, it has 1,280 sites in Japan, operated by a Geospatial Information Authority in Japan, like that. So this data is also obtained by real time, so we can reduce the real-time tech map like that. And also we operate the VHF radar for detecting equatorial plasma bubbles. And we have, this is the NICT ionospheric observation network. We have domestic observatories network here, and also we have Southeast Asian observation network named Sea Lions. So operating this network, we have a very close cooperation with each of the countries in Asia, which is also a kind of outreach background. Okay, so this is an example of the cooperation of Southeast Asia. We have MOU between NICT and GISDA Thailand. GISDA is a space agency in Thailand, and now they are very interested in having the space with operational services in Thailand. So for training the GISDA to have a capacity for space weather services, we have a MOU. It's signed between NICT and GISDA on November 29, 2019. So, and under these activities, we have now two researchers in NICT, and they have a training for space weather services. Before that, we have some of the candidate of space weather services operation from various countries in Asia. So this is Korea, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand since 2013. Under this collaboration, there is cooperation in Sea Lion corporations. Okay, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Tony, you're muted.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it. Thank you for the presentation. I have a question in terms of the forecast you issue for aviation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, I'm just thinking, you issue them at 2 times of the day. Are there reasons to issue them more frequently than that?
Yes, this is operational services, and if there are some severe events like very large-scale solar flares, we issue the alert and warnings automatically at first, and present detailed information about the impact of this space weather space weather phenomena in social aviations. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And did you have your hand raised, Soya?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
Yes,
I have a complementary question, and you mentioned that these warnings delivered by email, right?
Yes.
And also another, I think you mentioned something else.
Yeah,
by
website and Facebook, Twitter.
Okay, okay, also by Facebook and Twitter. Okay, and do you have some kind of, I don't know, web portal where all the information is delivered, or only in this way?
Yes, we have a website of NICT. Maybe I can show you here. Yeah, like that. Yeah, you can see every time with this website. This is the English version.
Okay. So you mean that space weather warnings delivered through all these networks, portal, emails, Facebook, Twitter, and everything is used, right?
Yes.
Okay. And any other means? I don't know, like just guessing. GTS, yes, or how it's work? Do you normally deliver these kind of warnings via GTS?
GTS. I don't know what is the GTS.
Global telecommunication system. And currently, this is kind of
yes,
new,
yes.
Yeah, alternative. Yeah.
Okay. We are yes. We are belonging to WIS with as a DCPC. So we provide the information of our ions on the data with yeah.
Okay. So it's clear. And just my last probably question would be: you mentioned that there is some training activity taking place and at NICT, but I didn't fully understand who delivers training. Japan or invited colleagues, trainers?
Okay, yeah, sorry. We in Japan provide the space weather service information to other countries. Yeah.
And training?
Yes, training. We provide the training opportunity to other countries, and yeah, for establishing the space weather services in other countries. So we contribute to capacity building of space weather services in other countries, especially in Southeast Asia.
Is it regular courses run by NICT?
It's rather difficult to say it's regular, but it's a request based. If they request, they want to have a training, we set the training course in NICT.
And how often does it happen? Just
it's about
some idea.
Once a year, or like that. Once in several years, 2 or 3 years.
And for Japan staff, do you provide some training on space weather for Japan people, for Japanese people?
That's a good question. Recently, we think it's necessary to provide or to train the space weather information in domestic people. And now we have experience to provide the information to Japanese military. But it's a rare case. Recently, some of the Japanese Ministry of Defense are very interested in to have a space weather forecast. Now we are discussing how to train them. Yeah.
Okay. And one more follow-up question. Sorry. Is training for international colleagues training materials can be shared with external people because they are in English, I guess, right?
Yes.
So that's why I was thinking if it can be shared with the, for example, VLab community, so that we can kind of collaborate on that with NICT.
Yes, I think so. It's very useful, but I'm not sure it's a comprehensive one or some spreadsheet. So yeah, I will discuss it with my colleague. Yeah.
Okay, and how long does the course take? I mean, is it like 1 month course or 1 week course?
Yeah, it depends on the attendance. So now we have two researchers from Thailand. They stay October, November, December, so about 2 or 3 months. And some people stay 2 weeks. Maybe 2 weeks is the shortest one. And from Malaysia, she stayed 1 year. So I think from 2 weeks to several months is very regular, and sometimes they stay 1 year. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Marcial, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question, but it's out of curiosity. I was just wondering, because you mentioned that you use Discover for the solar wind, I think. So I was just wondering how long do you have, if you have a spike in the data in the Discover satellite, how long do you have before it hits Earth, and how do you send the warnings?
Sorry, I do not understand fully your question, but we have a spacecraft named ACE and Discover, which is at the Lagrange point between the Sun and the Earth. And we have a receiver of this spacecraft and received 24/7 hours, cooperate with US and Germany. So now we can receive this information 24/7 hours and using this data for a space weather forecast. Is it?
I was just wondering how much time do you get if you have an alert from solar wind spikes or something? How much time do you have before you can send it out? I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. I didn't want to do that, but it was just out of curiosity.
Okay. So how long? How long? So
So how quick? Yeah, probably, Marcel. Do you mean how quickly this center can deliver warnings after receiving this information?
Okay.
Well, the satellite is going to use microwaves. So go ahead, Bodo.
Yeah. So it takes 1.5 hours to arrive the solar wind from the spacecraft to the Earth. So we use this time lag for our forecast. Yeah.
All right. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
I think Bodo had something to say.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to offer some complementary information because some of my US colleagues in the VLab have actually made me aware of this Discover satellite, but I think it's already been covered. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any more questions? See any hands raised? Okay.
And
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
just
ahead.
remember that Winifred was shared at VLMG meeting that she expected to have some discussions with SANSA on the potential collaboration between South African Weather Service and SANSA. And I was just curious if there is any updates on this matter.
Mm-hmm.
Winifred, I was just wondering if you have any updates on the collaboration with colleagues from SANSA. I was just interested in.
We have a very long time cooperation with SANSA for sharing their magnet metadata. So maybe more than 20 years. Yeah. So we have a very good relation between SANSA and NICT. Yeah.
From my side, no, I'm not aware of it. But I was thinking of maybe inviting SANSA to this meeting if it is fine with you all.
Okay. Okay. If there are no further questions, we thank Mr. Ishii for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
And